What's cracking? Welcome, guys. Um, Welcome to a new project, something from myself, blockchain gaming with Barndog. Now, I want to get into where I've come from, what I've started from. I'm rebranding a YouTube channel I had that I was doing 3 to 5 years ago for Clash with Barndog. It was something I did where we did some YouTube video contents to expand my player group within Clash of Clans in the Australian side of things. I'm a really proud Aussie. I love the fact that we've grown up in this wonderful country, that we've got so many opportunities. And in gaming, sometimes that can be hard to get the followers and the Aussie side of things into it, because obviously you're playing in different environments, different servers, different time zones, and a lot of the time we're forgotten about down here in the old southern hemisphere. So you're going to see me looking to the side. That's where I've got my other computer, and I've got my notes. This is my second recording, hoping that this is the one. Last night I had a few beers, did my first one as a bit of a trial, watched that several times, and I'm having that second crack now. So I am a 41-year-old gamer, so I've been around since day dot. I've been around since the Ataris came out. We had one kid up the road. He had it, and it was just amazing. Sold from the start. My first computer was a 286, and we had things like, I don't remember, Scorched Earth. It might have been called Scorched Earth. That was one of the very first games. I can't see why that doesn't come into blockchain gaming. There could be a style of gaming for that. But, your Might and Magics, Wolfensteins were starting to come out back in the day. And then, of course, all through the early 90s, when machines started going 386, 486, Pentiums, and all of that. So up to about 2004, I played a majority and quite a lot of games, large scales, your Blizzard games, your Westwoods, like your Command and Conquer. I remember June 2 being the first RTS game, and it was awesome. 7 floppy disks back then it fit on, and it was such a cool, revolutionary game. It changed it, and played RTS games for many, many years. Warcraft 3, and that led me into World of Warcraft, and I started that somewhere around the age of 23, 24 years old. And I've put the better part of 10 years into WoW, playing up to 3, 4 accounts, up to 9 accounts at once, 9 screens open, multi-boxing, farming. When I go in, I go balls deep. There's no fucking around, and it's how I've played. I've had 2 computers. When WoW Classic came out and I started playing that with the mates, I went and ordered a second laptop specifically so I could play 2 at once. I'd have 4 screens, 2 keyboard, 2 mice, and it's the kind of gamer I am. When I go in, I go balls deep, and I just fucking love it. So, what do we want to get into? I'm trying not to go too much off of my off of my sheet, but it's just going to happen. I'm trying to make sure I can get across what I'm after, what I'm doing. I want to really go into BlockFi, BlockFi gaming, blockchain. It's huge. The money that's coming into gaming at the moment is just monstrous. You've got things like Axie Affinity out there, that is making 300-400 million per month. They've got 60 to 100 million players per day. There's people in the Philippines that are completely changing their life on earning money playing this game. It's not always as easy to get into now. You've got to have money invest to be able to get into it. But then you've got things like FTX that are donating money for at-risk people that can't play the game. So it's allowed different people to get into it that could not normally afford to buy it themselves. It's really interesting, and I'm going to try to go through some of these kinds of things later on and talk about it. Like, what does that mean for gaming? What does that mean for Solana when you've got FTX, SBF and his team spending money on other blockchain games? I think it's amazing. I think it's a fantastic advertising for the fact that they're not just fucking sticking to Solana only. It's about spreading the word. It's about getting it everyone growing up together. One of the things they say is 1% of their profits they're going to be putting into donations and improving. That's part of his. If you don't know who that is, you should really go out and do a couple of videos, watch a couple of videos on his interviews, read some articles, and see where it all comes from. I want to talk about where we've been in the last 6 months. Obviously, we've had Corona hit pretty hard through the world. Um, Anywhere you go, it's talked about. For me specifically, I can't fly home to my home of residence. I've been there for 10 days this year because if I fly home to Queensland, then I can't fly back to Western Australia where I'm working at the moment. Otherwise, I'll have to isolate for 14 days. So what does this mean in the world of gaming, in the world of blockchains, crypto? What this means is people have been locked inside creating. So there's going to be a whole new wave of people doing gaming, people that have been studying DeFi, that have been creating things for the space. And are we at the stage of Ready Player One? Absolutely not. We don't have that big immersive style of game. We've got Star Atlas that is planning on being something like that, but they're well off development. This is a really big month for Star Atlas, but at the same token, they don't have a playable computer game at the moment. Something that's been very big over the last few months has been NFTs, pixel art. It doesn't really tickle my pink bits. I haven't gone out and spent money on pixel art, but there are people that are trying to be the first adopters. Some of these things are selling for huge money. So people are getting these, turning them over, and trying to see where the next one is. And everyone's going to have to do their own research into that. What do they want to invest in? What kind of crypto person are you going to be? Are you in it solely for the gaming? Are you in it for buying and selling NFTs? Are you in it for buying and selling coins? This is not what I'm trying to get into, being financial advice. I'm just some random Aussie at the moment, not drunk, which is even better for making a video. But I'd like to get into deep dives of some of these projects. So, talk about potential, free money, background picture. All right, so what I want to talk about now is go into what we have here with the Solana pictures. Thanks to the astronaut, does some great highlights and dives in Twitter about specifically Solana and different projects, different subject matters and stuff like that. But you can see here there's only 7 projects. At the recording of this video, I know of 11 games. So what we're missing from here is we're missing the Cope game, which is actually one of the only playable games at the moment. I'll see if I can find the right tab. So we're missing the Cope game from that particular list. We're also missing the ones with K for some reason. So Kaiju Cards, Kinland, and Kugel. So I'm not sure why, but obviously one of the big things is Twitter. We get a lot of our information from Twitter. I get it like a lot of other people as well. It comes from there. So not everyone has the time in a day to be able to go and study these projects, to study the games, to see what's happening. Now, I spend a lot of time every day in crypto space, researching, looking, watching Twitter, doing a few, listening to podcasts, Twitters, YouTubes myself, and it is really cool. So I'll do a quick dive through these games. Now, this isn't going to be a deep dive. This is just to show you guys that, there are games out there. Rory has got their own website. They've got a little bit of video footage out there. They look really cool. You're getting artwork out there in the mainstream streets and stuff, and that was cool to see that little tweet. Cope Showdown. I haven't played this game, but from my understanding, one Cope gets you 5 lives, and I would like to actually have a bit of a play of this, and I will try and do something on a stream for that. So we've got DeFi Land is the next one. DeFi Land really does remind me of Supercell's farming game. For the life of me, I can't think of the name. Heyday. So that was what that was called. And the live interview I saw with Wales Friend AMA with DeFi Land, one of the devs off that, was pretty cool. There was some good information involved in that. The game looks exciting. The prospects, they're going to have a version 1, version 2, because they want to get it out there and get it started. And this is what a lot of these projects are doing, is they just are out there to build. They want to get out early, and in a space of something like crypto and blockchains is 24 hours, 7 days a week, things just explode so quickly. Kaiju cards are hand-drawn arts. They released their first one this week. So they do their release on Tuesday of the week of recording. It's currently Saturday. So in a few days' time, they will be releasing their premiere cards, and they're going to be 3 sol per card. I'm going to look to get a couple and see where that goes. Very interesting concept where your NFT evolves, and it was something about the contracts on Solana allows evolving contracts, and that's really cool. So you can see some of the artwork here on the side. I think that was the apple farmer. Some of the mushroom farmers, sorry, but he gives you an apple and you're not allowed to brush off the dirt. There's a bit of story and there's some funny stuff to it. Kinland's a very interesting one where I had trouble bidding on the auctions, and I missed the first one. Yes. All right, so this is one of the best games I've seen at the moment for actual playability. So you get the character. This is off the demo version. You download it for Apple or Android. I believe you can do it on Android. All right, I've got Android, so that's all I've played it on. I thought you could do it on both. But you run around, you collect kin, and you can interact with some of the animals. I've interacted with the dog in one of the things, and then you can kill some zombies and stuff like that. Really cool. Like I was saying, I managed to talk with a dev regarding Metaplex, Gamerplex, I think they call it, .io. I couldn't get my money back from an auction I put in, because some of these auctions went for huge amounts. I'm talking 10 sol for their second auction. The very first one, Backpacker Ben, only sold for 1.8 sol, which was just super, super low. So for Kinland specifically, they don't do a lot of tweeting. They don't have it high on the social media. That's why it's kind of missed the radar of a lot of people and a lot of projects. And that's where they're just out there developing, and they've also got full-time jobs, and they just don't have all the extra time to go into the public and all of that kind of stuff. Kugel reminds me of a very Tamagotchi style. You grow your pet, you feed your pet. They were meant to be donating to the green sources, trees, carbon emissions in their white paper. I'd like to go through this. I do have some Goo coins I bought on the 12th of June or July. Probably July, I would say. We're in August now. Haven't seen a whole lot from them though. So Ninja Protocol, I don't know anything about Ninja Protocol, about the game. This is one of the reasons why I want to do this YouTube, is to get into it and actually go, well, what are these games coming out? So I will look in this space a bit more. Open Era, as you can see, MMORPG game. This reminded me of a very Dungeons Dragons style. They have mentioned RuneScape a couple times. Haven't seen a whole lot of them in the media. Project Seed. Now, again, another D&D styled game. To me, it looks like more of a Dark Sun setting. On the right, you've got the pet here. I think they call them Zeds, and that's going to be part of your NFTs. And those Zeds evolve, I believe, as well. Now, what was really cool about these guys, I believe it's an Indonesian company creating it. They are very into the community. They've got a lot of chatter going, a lot of hype. And I think they're going to have a dungeon creator. It'd be really cool if you could do that offline and create a dungeon using whatever app they have, to be able to then later on download onto the game. And that's how you're going to be able to make some money. People play your dungeon, they fight your monsters, and then hopefully you get the shill coin from there. So Life, based off of a game of life. Now, it's interesting as to the fact that they've based this off a board game. When's the last time anyone played a board game? For me, in the 80s and 90s, we played this. We had this as a family, and we played Game of Life. 2.99 Sol to buy a baby card on their release. That's now going to be 3.99 Sol. So 4 Sol to buy a baby card, about $160. This is where we start talking about blockchain games. Is That's a lot of money. Like, now, what's good about blockchain games is that you've put that money in, but you can then hopefully get that same money out. You might play the game for 3 months, get bored as shit, and go, fuck this, I want to go and sell that and get into another game. I might want to go and check out Cope, which is just a small token, a part of a token to be able to play. I might want to buy some coins, trade them on DeFi land, start doing quests, build up quests and things like that. I might want to look at selling my baby card in So Life and buying a Keiju card and start playing that. Now, Kinland is a game that's based off the Kin coin, and it's a social token. It's worth, at the moment, I think 7,000 Satoshis. It's not a high valued coin. So if you're spending 10 Sol buying, I don't have the pictures linked, but if you're spending 10 Sol, box of Beeman, there you go, that was what he was called. I tried to bid on that, stopped at 4. It was also 2 a.m. in the morning. I had to wake up and go to work 3 hours after that. So I woke up, did a couple bids, was outbid eventually. And if you're spending 10 Sol on this particular character to play the game, the return might not necessarily be there, but it doesn't mean you're not going to enjoy it, and you're going to be able to sell that character afterwards down the track. So I've talked about a whole lot. I've gone a lot longer than I had aimed for. I need to go over the fact that it's not going to be financial advice. I'm trying to do this to help myself, help the community. I've really enjoyed where I've gotten involved at Grape, and the Grape protocol and what they're building and how they're training people and teaching people and all of these kinds of things about community. Yeah, so this is my second recording. Hopefully I have gone in detail enough about things. Please send some likes, send some information down, what you would like to get into. I'm going to be talking about probably Star Atlas as one of my first ones, because the month of August is an extremely big month for that. But otherwise, I'm keen, balls deep into the gaming side of things. I'm pretty much invested in Solana throughout it. So, I mean, I'm not going to hide that. I'm not out here trying to shill to bump up my profits to make money. Yeah, there's money to be made in YouTubing. There is money in gaming. But I want to go in there. I want to test these games. I want to play these games and have some fun. So, by all means, please comment, like and subscribe. And thank you, Mother, for the rabbits.